Hey guys, I'm going to talk about something that I think we should really at least consider, and that is not using the term stress inoculation in the self-preservation training community. And the reason is because it's not accurate. That's not what it is. Inoculation is introducing a pathogen into the body that your body then learns to recognize, and then it can produce the antibodies for. So, down the road, polio virus or something gets into your body recognizes and goes, oh, here, these are the antibodies, we need to knock it out. So with inoculation, the idea is we're going to knock out that threat. It's not going to come up. Well, you can't do that with stress. The problem with stress is it's there. Now, if you are shooting a drill, for example, and you're shooting, the advanced super test or something like that, it's a challenging drill. So there's stress, especially if you shoot it in a class in front of other people, or you shoot it on video and people are going to watch it online. Yeah, there's stress. But if you shoot that over and over and over again, eventually you'll start to go, yeah, okay, cool, I can handle this. But that's not real. What we're talking about with self-preservation is performing a skill set, shooting, hand-to-hand, OC spray, managing unknown contacts, whatever the skill is, against a resisting opponent with opposing will, malevolent intent, and freedom of action. That's what a bad guy is doing. Not a paper or cardboard target set at a set known distance, and you're going to shoot a known drill on a square flat range where you have no other distractions. With a actual opponent, a non-consensual opponent, he can say, I'm going to do X, I'm going to do Y, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and he can change in a heartbeat. That response, that's going to cause stress no matter what. And you're going to have that stress. You can't get rid of it. So I've done a lot of competition in the years. Yeah, and I know all the tactical guys, competition is not a fight. Well, yeah, maybe, but it's approaching it, because stress is a specific chemical hormonal dump. You don't get different ones based on the stressor. It's the same chemical hormonal dump, whether it's you're stressed out about an interaction with your boss, you're stressed out about an interaction with your significant other, your kid, a competition that you want to win and you don't want to be embarrassed at, or you're fighting for your life. It's the same thing. The stress chemicals are the same. So, okay, you can say a competition isn't as much of it as a fight, but it's still the same. And if I know in a competition I can perform under that level of stress, I certainly know I have a much better chance of doing it for real. Whereas if I never compete, it's a guess. It's a wild guess if I'm ever going to be able to take this skill set in this clean, clinical place and use it on the street. Right. So let's not get into that argument. But I've competed a lot. I did boxing smokers back in the mid 80s, 86, 87. I did some savate stuff. We were working up for a big tournament, US versus France, that never came off, unfortunately. I did some judo tournaments, and I've done a ton of jiu-jitsu tournaments, starting back in 95, I think, was the first Joe Maria tournament in Southern California. So I've done a lot. And the thing is, I hear what people say, oh, stress inoculation. And I'm doing a tournament and I'm still feeling stress. It's like the first time I ever did a tournament. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? What is my dysfunction that I'm still feeling stress? And I thought it was something wrong, because everyone uses that terminology, stress inoculation. So I was talking to my instructor one time, and Megaton Diaz is it may be the greatest competitor in jiu-jitsu history. I mean, he's literally been doing it forever at that highest level. He's still #1 Master 6 black belt in the world, and nobody's even close at #2. I mean, he could stop competing for the rest of the year, and he'd still end up #1 for the most part. So I asked him one time, I said, hey, Meg, when, and he's been competing since he could walk, basically. And I said, hey, Meg, when for you did the butterfly stop? When did the stressor stop? He goes, Cecil, it's never stopped. I feel the same stressor that I do today that I did, 40 plus years ago. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, that's what we're talking about. The stress doesn't go away. We don't inoculate ourselves against stress, but we become comfortable with the stress. The stress is going to be there. We just have to learn to go, yeah, okay, it's there. I can still perform. I can still do this technique. I can do what I need to do. So, and I know that sounds picky. Well, why do you care, Cecil, stress inoculation? Well, because words mean things. And if we're trying to teach people how to save their lives, how to make their lives better, we have to be clear. We have to have clarity of language. We have to have clarity of message to get this idea across. And if we're using this terminology, stress inoculation, that isn't appropriate and doesn't apply, I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there who have the same reaction I did. What's wrong with me that I'm still stressed out? Okay, so you might not agree with all of what I said, but think about it in that terminology, in that sense of I'm trying to get an idea across to people, and it's important. And how do we do that? So something to think about. Hopefully that makes sense to a lot of you, and I'll talk to you guys down the road.